Aloha, welcome back to another episode of Alaka'i, the podcast. My name is Lexi Langley. I'm one of your hosts, and I'm here with Eli, my co-host. How's it going, Eli?
Going good.
Great to hear that. So today we have three amazing people. We have some of the presidency members of the Latin America Club. So say hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so we'll just have you guys introduce yourselves. Maybe just tell us your name, your major, what year you are in school, where you're from, and maybe just something you like to do.
Awesome. Yeah, first off, thank you so much, Lexi, for this opportunity. So my name is Nicole Martinez, and I am majoring in hospitality and tourism management. My minors are music with an emphasis in piano and psychology. Super fun. I love it.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super fun. And then it's also confusing. I think I'm a junior. I took 2 semesters of absence, so it's a little tricky, but I will be a junior after this semester.
Awesome.
I'm from San Diego, California. In specific, it's like an outskirt city called Valley Center, and it's just the cutest little town. I love it. Nice. But when I was 16, we moved to Gilbert, Arizona, so
yeah,
we've been there ever
everybody,
since.
I'm from Arizona, so that's why I'm
yes.
like, yeah,
love it. Seriously, I love being in any body of water. I love swimming, just having a good time, sunbathing, just having it, just, you know.
Yeah, connecting
that
with
beach
nature.
vibe.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Were you around water a lot, like
yes,
in California?
Totally, yeah.
Okay.
And then even when I would move to Arizona, I love to go wake surfing and just stuff like that.
Going to the lake is such a huge thing there. You have to. It's so hot. You cannot survive not being in water.
Seriously, 115 degrees will totally knock you out.
Yeah.
It's so hot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a little bit about myself.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
Well, I love Arizona too. I served my mission there.
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I remember, for anyone who doesn't know, I think we have had Alan on the podcast before.
Yes.
Okay.
And I do remember you saying you served your mission there. That's awesome.
Well, my name is Alan Pineda Portugal Vela. I usually just go by Alan Pineda. This is my second semester in the school, and I'm studying marketing. That's my job. I do marketing for the PCC.
Awesome.
So it's something that I really enjoy. That's pretty much what I enjoy doing, taking photos and creating stuff.
Cool. And where are you from?
I'm from Mexico.
Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
What city are you from?
It's called Cuernavaca, Morelos. It's right next to Mexico City, south of Mexico City.
So
Nice.
cool.
Cool.
Love Mexico City.
Yeah, I was born in Cuernavaca and then moved to a state called Veracruz, which is all the east coast of Mexico. So I grew up in the beach and going there and
wow. Is the beach prettier in Mexico, or is it
No.
prettier here? No.
well, like Mexico has beautiful beaches, but Veracruz, it's cool. I love going there, but it doesn't compare to like here in Hawaii.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
So
I've never
beautiful.
been
That's
to
different.
Mexico, so I'll have to take your word for it. But cool. Thanks so much.
Well, hi, my name is Nandy, and I'm from Guatemala. That will be in Central America, for those who don't know. It's right next to Mexico, and it goes all the way. It's the first country in Central America. Then, let's see, I'm majoring in TESOL education. That's teaching English to students of other languages. Let's see, what else? Oh, what do we like doing for fun? So I'm totally the opposite to Nicole. I'm more like a forest person. I grew up in Guatemala. It's known as the heart of the Mayan world. So it's spring all the time in Guatemala. And the part I grew up is Antigua, close to Antigua, Guatemala, San Lucas, Zacatepec. So it's forests all around. The place specifically I grew up is a natural reservation, so you cannot burn anything there. It's I love the smell of pine trees. I love cold weathers. I mean, that type of cold weather. I love just seeing forests, all around me. That's me. And I like hiking, rock climbing. I like sports. Soccer probably would be the one that I play the most. And any other sport, even if I'm not good at it, I'm a very outdoor person. Yoga is another thing I enjoy doing. Exercising, I'll always go more to the sport part instead of going to a gym and following a routine. A routine kills me. I like having fun while I'm working out. And let's see, I also am very into entrepreneurship. That's my minor. So
cool.
yeah, that's just a little bit about me. I love Latin food. Let's see, they always say it's Mexican food is very similar to Mexican food, the food we eat, but I can eat black beans with eggs, with plantains.
Ooh.
The bread we have in my country, that's just meat recently taken out of the oven, and some cream and cheese on top. I can eat that every day with
Wow.
Sounds
avocado.
good.
Making my mouth water. That
Yes,
that sounds delicious. Well,
Yes.
thank you so much, everybody, for sharing a little bit about yourselves. You guys are awesome. I'm so happy I get to know you guys. So first, just as the presidency of the Latin America Club, we kind of learned a little bit about, and we know you're from Guatemala, you're from Mexico. Nicole, do you want to share a little bit about your background? Just your family, or everyone.
Yeah, so I, as we were talking about just before this podcast started, I'm like a very interesting mix of a bunch of different Latin American countries. My mom is from Peru, so I'm half Peruvian, and then my dad has a mix of Spain and Mexico as well. And so, yeah, it's just so cool. Like, I actually lived in Peru for 3 years.
Wow,
yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was such an awesome experience. I lived there when I was like about to turn 9, and then I moved back when I was almost 12. So
What brought your family to Peru?
So my dad, he's a developer, and he built hotels. So we actually built a hotel right by Machu Picchu.
Wow.
And so we just moved there to kind of like help it get started. And it was seriously the most incredible experience ever.
Wow.
Like, I'd always grown up going to Peru anyways, and it was like a second home. Like, I feel like my grandma's home was my, like, you know, like, I grew up in San Diego, but that was also my house, like, with all my cousins and aunts and uncles. And it was just such a different experience to like live there and, you know, just be able to really learn to like love the culture.
Yeah.
And it was just so awesome. I lived in the city of Cusco for 1.5 years, which is where that hotel is. And then I lived in Lima, right on the beach, in a city called Miraflores for another 1.5 years. And it was even more special because all my siblings moved there. Like, my sister was a newlywed, so her and my brother-in-law moved there with us, and then my brother and my sister-in-law had 2 little girls. Like, the oldest was, I think, like 3 years old, my oldest niece. And so it was just so awesome. Like, one of my brothers wasn't married at the time, he moved there too.
Wow.
Same as my other, like,
whole
seriously,
family.
my whole family. It was such an awesome experience. And so I have definitely like a huge deep love for Peru.
Yeah.
It's just, I love it so much. So that's a little bit about where I come from.
Cool.
And yeah, my mom is in specific from Iquitos, so her and all my aunts and uncles were born in like the Amazon jungle, and they were raised in Lima. So my mom moved to Lima when she was 7 years old.
Oh my goodness.
And so yeah, but my grandma, she was a native to the Amazon River as well, like that area. And then my grandpa's side, his dad was from Spain, and he immigrated to Peru, so that jungle area. So that's just a little bit about myself and what I have to do with the Latin America blood.
That's amazing. And then what is your role in the Latin America Club?
So I am the vice president, specifically for career services.
Gotcha.
So coming up soon, we're gonna have just a speaker. I think it's going to be PJ Rogers, and he's going to just have us at his house, and just all the club members can go, and he can talk to us a little bit more about, like, you know, his successes in business, and just a little bit more about how he involved Christ in his life, so you can have that spiritual balance as well.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that. That's really amazing. I love all of the diversity. And then we have Alan, who's from Mexico. Do you, just before this, we were kind of talking about the different DNAs. So do you want to share maybe some other background that you have in your blood?
Just like when you see me, you don't think I'm Mexican. I went to Mexico before coming to BYU-Hawaii to visa stuff and things like that. And it was very interesting because I'm just walking in the streets, and average Mexican, rich here, like in the middle, is like Nandy size. Is very. It's like
Here, let's
give
some background to our audience members because they can't see me do this. But
I'm like 6'2".
Okay,
so,
and that's tall, is what you're saying for the average.
So everyone is. I always feel like people looking at me and things like that. So it's interesting whenever I'm in Mexico. But that's because of the the colonization and all these things. And well, from my mom's side, most of us are Spain, and from my dad's side is Jew.
Oh wow.
Gotcha.
So that's why I'm not that Mexican looking.
It's so interesting because like Spain has such like a strong influence in South American countries because they came to like, you know, expand their colony and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, so like a lot of people from Latin America just has like, they have a Spanish mix
I mean,
in
that's
them.
where we get the Spanish from.
Right. Yeah,
The
that's
language.
true. Yeah. So
That's
it's super
awesome.
interesting.
Okay, and then Nandy, you're from Guatemala.
Yeah, Guatemala.
And do you have any other Latin American influence?
Yeah, for sure. As we were colonized by Spanish, so all Latin Americans, starting from Mexico all the way to the end of Chile and South America, will have Spanish ancestors because that's who they were colonized by, and probably some other countries in Europe as well. So sizes and how we look in Guatemala, we have all different sizes. I do have cousins that look like Alan.
Really?
That are tall. So in Guatemala, we do have all different shapes and sizes. It's not every small. Indigenous, of course, the natives in Guatemala will not be as tall as 6 foot, but you do have a lot of mixes.
Yeah.
And there are people that short like me. There are people that are taller. And different colors. It's very diverse, Guatemala. You have people that came also that have African appearance. And Livingstone is the place in my country that looks like that. But my grandmother from my father's side came from Mexico. And my last name, Gordillo, that's where it comes from. So we have some Mexican, of course, and Caceres, which is my mother's last name, is coming from Spain. So we have, of course, that mix: Guatemala, Mexico, and España.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So cool.
Mm-hmm.
Something that when I was watching Culture Night, I really enjoyed the performances were fantastic, first of all.
Thank you.
And it reminded me of just the purpose of this university, right? Bring people from all walks of life into one place. And so, for the three of you, right, 'cause you represent a portion of the Latin American students we have at BYU-Hawaii.
Right.
But what are some things that your club does to give people from Latin America or of Latin American descent, how do you give them a sense of belonging, a sense of understanding who they are?
Well, to start is that we all are connected. And we mentioned this at the beginning of our presentation. Family is a huge thing in our culture. We value family a lot. It's dancing is most of us will learn how to do salsa, bachata, cumbia, zapateado, and all the other dances that you guys saw. Well, Brazil is samba, but you do it at home when you gather for birthday parties, for Christmas gatherings, New Year's gatherings. So partying, and of course, because generations has changed, it might have changed. But for example, in my country, marimba is an instrument that is played a lot, and they play it here at the BYU-Hawaii. And I grew up with my grandfather having me and my cousins and my siblings stand up on his feet, and he would teach us how to follow the tempo and all that.
Aww.
So
That's so cool.
that's and when you meet Latinos, you will know that. I mean, most of Latinos like dancing, not all of them, but most Latinos, at least they enjoy being in a part, and of course through food as well.
I was gonna say, I think one of the ways that, especially Nandy, I think she does a very good job with this, all the activities. One time, I was thinking of the community, and I said, let's get chunky the cookies, right? Mm-hmm. And Nandy was like, no. I was like, why not? Like, get our community, blah, blah, blah. And then she explained this to me, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Yeah. So she likes to grab a country and make a food from that country. Mm-hmm. And so I think the way how we give that sense of belonging to everyone is that at every single activity that we have, we try to have, even if it's just very simple, to make it look Latino,
Yeah.
We try our best to not get pizzas or things like that, and I think shout out to all those members of the club that do a lot of work for that. They're not in the presidency, most of them, the ones that do all that job, and they still get all the food ready, right? Because we could just order pizza or talk to a business or things like that.
Absolutely.
But we do our best to make sure the food that we provide is from a country or everyone feels like
authentic food.
I totally want to second that. Like, I've realized that it's not only like club members that are from Latin American countries, but also like students who serve their missions in Latin American countries, or even students who really want to learn more about the language. They want to like learn Spanish or just be involved in that culture. I've seen just like all of that, and I think it's so awesome that they can feel that sense of belonging. And just like with dance, and I remember when I moved to Peru, it was such a culture shock. Like I remember my mom was like, go out, dance, because I would go to birthday parties and everyone's like partying, and I'm like, I don't feel comfortable dancing in front of everyone. But it's just so awesome. Like I quickly was able to adapt into that, and it is just such an awesome feeling of belonging, and just such an you just feel so connected, like family, like Nandy was saying. And I just think that's so awesome that I've seen that students can feel the same here on campus, just being so far away from their homes or just wanting to learn more about the culture in general. I think that's really, really awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I think it's really cool that you guys choose a country, because that makes that person or that group of people that are from that country feel just really seen and heard and recognized, even though there might not be, we know that our school is majority, it's
certainly got an American influence.
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Yeah. There's definitely a lot of mainland students, but we have a lot of, of the Asian Pacific, Oceania students. Yeah. And so that's really cool that you guys can have that and enjoy the food and the music, because that's a huge part of what makes a culture. And so
definitely.
To follow up with that, what are some of your guys' favorite dishes, Latin American dishes?
Tacos al pastor.
That's good.
So good.
Wait, so what is just tacos? Wait, I didn't hear the second part.
most of the places here, some sell it, but still for some reason it's not the same.
Oh, for sure.
But there's the usual taco that we know, like the steak taco.
Yeah.
There's this thing they put the meat on red sauce. I don't know what.
You need to marinate it overnight.
Okay.
So we had that for Food Fest last year in 2022.
Good. And it's so beautiful.
Yeah. And it's all made from scratch, so it does have a lot of work behind the scenes. So to get the meat that's why it goes al pastor, because the sauce that you have to make from scratch, it takes time. You get a lot of seasonings, and we're grateful that we have a place that's called Mercado La Raza in Honolulu, that is a Mexican owner, and they bring most of the seasonings that we need to make our own food. Wow. Also Don Quixote, which is a Japanese store, but if anyone is listening, that's what they have, a lot of the seasonings that we use. But that's what makes it nice. In Guatemala we also have tacos al pastor. They're made a little bit different from Mexico.
Eventually it's also red, right?
Yeah, it's also red.
So picture like the meat from pork.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, usually it's pork, but in Guatemala you can also have chicken, steak. Yeah, those are the three meats.
So they put it, there's this like, we call it trompo. And so it's a stick, and you put the meat in it.
And pineapple on the top.
So it creates this like huge thing full of meat that spins, and there's fire right next to it.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
So it cooks
this is
it as
food.
Street food, yeah. I can see the vision.
And so the smell is
like this is what you eat after clubbing, after like at 4 a.m.
Wow.
You're in the streets, you're like, okay, it was fun, let's go eat.
Sounds
and that's
so
what you
Did
eat.
you do that in high school?
Yeah.
He's shaking his
Yes.
head,
Yes.
yes, everybody, or nodding his head, yes. My bad. Wow, that's really cool. Okay, Nicole, what do you have, like a favorite Peruvian dish?
Oh my gosh, see, I was about to say I'm
strong.
Yes, I'm a diehard fan for Peruvian food. It's so delicious. I'm a big fan of ceviche. Ceviche is so yummy. It's raw fish, but it's, just hear me out, it's so good. It's like you can make it the spiciness level that you want.
Gotcha.
So and one interesting fact is that they have a sweet potato right next to it, and sweet potato is supposedly like supposed to help with like the spiciness. So if like your mouth is on fire, you just have a bite of some sweet potato and you're good to go. But it just comes with, some corn and onions and just this really, really good like lime juice, and it's so delicious.
Oh my
But
goodness.
another really popular dish that I know that a lot of people, if they've had Peruvian food, they've probably had lomo saltado. Yes, and so that's
I love
another.
that one.
It's just so yum. Like my boyfriend, he served a mission in Colombia, and he had some Peruvian companions, and that was like I think one of the dishes that he had,
Yeah.
and ever since then he's like, oh my gosh, Peruvian food is so yum.
Wow. Okay. Have you ever been to? Okay. This is the only time I've ever heard the word ceviche, other than now.
Okay.
But in Haleiwa, there's a place called Jorge's Tacos and Ceviche,
Oh, I've never been.
and yeah, you should go. I've never ordered ceviche, but
Okay.
I just know that I remember because that's one of my favorite restaurants.
Oh, really?
And so when you said that, I was like, oh, Jorge's Tacos and Ceviche. So
Well-
maybe they have it there, and maybe it's really good.
Maybe. Well, the interesting thing is that there's ceviche in almost like all of the
Yeah.
like South American countries, but they're all so different. Like Mexican ceviche
Interesting.
is so different to Peruvian ceviche.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, maybe it's super yummy. Maybe they have
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
Peruvian ceviche.
Yeah, check it out.
That's awesome.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, and it's so fun hearing about food because food it's really this thing that like brings people together as a community, right?
So much
Right.
joy
It's all
around
about
food.
community and wait, what did you say?
Actually, there's just so much joy that comes with eating
Oh,
food.
yes.
Exactly. And I found that I've never attended one of the Latin American clubs like events, but
You have to.
I do. And now I've
Just
heard
like,
about
come.
food. I definitely have to. We want to talk about holidays. So, Alan, you're from
We have
Mexico.
Cinco de Mayo coming up.
Yes. Would you mind filling our listeners in about what exactly it is, what it's
Yeah.
not?
Well,
All
when
that.
when I read the email asking and it mentioned Cinco de Mayo, I was like, yes. But the reason why is because it's like the biggest, what's the right word? Misconception?
Yeah, misconception.
Uh-huh.
That was what we were thinking. Like, it's probably
Right.
No, yeah, but to a different level. Like, Pitbull has this song called Cinco de Mayo that now is like my little thing. Now every time it's Cinco de Mayo or Mayo in general, I play it just because it's such a meme to me. Like how, like when I was in high school, I remember the first time every person that, especially from church, most of them, they're the ones that knew me and they knew that I was Mexican. Every single person say Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Like on your mission?
No, like so I live in Texas for 3
wow.
years.
Oh, okay. So this was in high school?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it
so
was
when
in
I was in
Texas
high
and
school-
people would say Happy
Yeah,
Cinco.
I remember I came to my mom and I was like, what's going on? Cinco de Mayo? Like, but I mean, it is something. It is
Okay.
something. It's so big that I called my mom and I was like, just to make sure, do we do anything? She gets mad. She's like, what? No, you know.
No way.
And I was like, what about government school? And she says, there's no classes. That is it.
That's it.
That's,
Okay.
that's the only thing.
Oh,
So there's no school on
There's
the
no
5th of
school.
May in Mexico, but
And
that's
that
the
is
only thing.
It. Yeah.
There's nothing. No
it's not
fiesta.
even that big. It was just a fight that we won against French.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I feel like a lot of people think it might be like their.
A lot of people think it's
the
Independence of
Independence Day,
Mexico.
it's
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
Independence of Mexico is in September the 16th.
Okay, I'm gonna remember that. September 16th.
And so that's where we go crazy, especially the more center you are to Mexico, like Mexico City. The band is huge, and as you go all the way farther from the center of Mexico, the intensity of the event goes up a little bit lower, but eventually, like, that's the thing, right? Other than that,
Wow.
is like
So
Cinco
I
de Mayo
wonder
is not-
who started this thing.
Oh well, let
of
me tell you.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah, so President Bush,
Oh no.
he he gets in front of the White House and with mariachis, everything.
Oh no.
Wow.
And he says, "Mi Casa Blanca es tu Casa Blanca," and celebrating Cinco de Mayo. That's the first time USA approached it, recognized it. It's cool.
Okay.
But then everyone thought that's it, and now it's when colleges, restaurants, bars, everyone just takes it as Cinco de Mayo, discounts for tacos, discount for this, and
For beer.
yeah, for
party?
everything, right? But it started with that, just when he did that, and it was just a small fight in the state of Puebla, which is right next to Mexico City and Veracruz, and we won. Like, it was, if you want the whole story, it's more like Spain, England, and France. They want to go for war. There's a they managed to do it without war, but French is like, no, we fight, and Mexicans destroy them. They went back, and that's Cinco de Mayo. We don't. You're right. We don't call it Cinco de Mayo. We call
Okay.
it La Batalla de Puebla,
Okay.
and that's how they teach it to people in Mexico in the schools.
And there's just no school on that day, and they call
Mhm.
it that.
Batalla de Puebla, which means
Wow.
the Battle of Puebla, the state.
Mm.
Okay.
So for like a native person from Mexico, and if you were to just be like Cinco de Mayo, they'd have no idea what you're talking about, or
They would probably.
They will associate like
With
okay,
America.
Batalla de Puebla
With United
is like
States.
I picture like in a test that
Okay,
would be a
okay,
question on the
cool.
test, like when is La Batalla de Puebla? It's Cinco de Mayo.
okay,
Okay.
okay, cool.
And I would like you probably know that a lot of people from the United States call it Cinco de Mayo. So you know what it means, what we mean, I guess. Like, does that make sense?
Now I do, but
Oh, but you didn't when you went to Texas.
no. When I was in high
Wow.
school, I was so confused. I was like, Mom, what's going on? Because
That
she
is so
came here to
interesting.
this university,
Oh,
my mom,
wow.
and so when we moved to Texas, I asked her a lot of things like cultural stuff, just like you say, it was a cultural shock on dating, on school, and church, everything. So for little questions, I will always go to my mom because she already live here, and I will be like, "So what's up with this? Why am I getting text saying Feliz Cinco de Mayo? What is?" And she's like, "Are you serious? Like you learned that in school? It's La Batalla de Puebla." And I was like, "Why do
Okay.
they celebrate
Mind
that?"
blown.
Oh
That's
my
so curious
goodness.
about.
Seriously, I am so glad that you shared that because I'm from Arizona. And other than coming to BYU-Hawaii, like I didn't serve a mission, so I haven't gone anywhere else. I didn't do study abroad or anything. So I honestly did not know that. So thank you so much for enlightening me and enlightening hopefully all of our listeners to understand the truth behind Cinco de Mayo, that it is not actually
Mexico's Independence Day.
yeah, it's not. It's for one, it's not their Independence Day, and for two, it's not even something that they are celebrating the way that we think they are,
Right.
and that we're not supporting them the way we think we are.
But,
right.
well, nowadays it changes because I mean I have one of our previous club members who was in our presidency, Alejandro Benjamin, and his sister Sophie Benjamin. They help us both choreograph Culture Night. He did it for last year, 2022. She did it this year, 2023, for Mexico. They do celebrate it. It is big for them.
Oh.
And he did ask for the club, like, we should do something for Cinco de Mayo. So I think it depends where you're coming from, because their
In
families are very
Mexico.
Mexicans, and they do, for them it's a huge event. They
Oh.
do, and because they dance folklore since they were little.
Gotcha.
Like Sophie started dancing when she was like 3 years old. I think Alejandro was probably around the same age.
Okay.
So for them, they do the get together. They dance zapateado, which is what you saw for Culture Night.
Right.
And they do have a huge event where they eat a lot of Mexican food.
Huh. Okay.
So
well, thank you.
it depends where you're coming.
Yeah, maybe it depends where in Mexico.
Right now, I learned from Alan that it's not a big thing in Mexico, but I do know at least from them that are Mexicans that grew up in Utah, but their families are originally from Mexico. It's big for them.
Wow.
And in Utah,
And it makes sense. I mean, eventually it's something celebrated in the U.S.
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say, because if they were in Utah,
if they
there's
for someone like
yeah,
if my kids
yeah.
for my kids it will be something, they're
I was
like
gonna say that
they will
makes
be half
sense.
Mexicans, and
Yeah.
they're in the U.S. and that gets more celebrated than the
Yeah.
independence.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's kind of like, I don't know, celebrated in the States for our fellow Mexican
Yeah, like
brothers
I'll
and
be
sisters.
celebrating.
Yeah.
I'll be using the excuse, and I'll be like, we throwing
For
a party
sure.
because Cinco de
and
Mayo.
I think that's what it is. I think it's like
Yeah.
it's an excuse to just be with your family and have a good time together. So, but that's really interesting that in Mexico it was not a big party like in your experience at least. So I would be curious, to hear more experiences of more of our students
Yeah.
from
yeah,
Mexico
I
or
wonder
Mexico
if
backgrounds.
it's in old Mexico as well. Because where are you from, Alan? Mexico? Cuernavaca?
From the same state that that family is from.
Oh, really?
Around so the mom, I think that we're from the same state.
Because we also had a president from Mexico, Abril. She did say for her Abril Mercado, and she was from, if I'm not mistaken, forgive me, Abril, if I'm saying wrong where you're from. I think she was from Puebla. So I don't know.
In
Depends.
Puebla, it might be celebrated a little more. I mean, they're the ones who beat French, right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Mexico's
Wow.
huge, so probably
Yeah.
some places they
I'll have to
celebrate.
do some research, get talking to some people. That's really cool. But thank you guys so much. I think we'll close out by just having you guys each share your favorite thing about your background, your culture. Is that okay? Does that sound good?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nandy, you want to start?
Sure, yeah. Well, my favorite part about my culture is I love the food that I grew up with. I love how it's connected our culture to our family history. In Guatemala, we have an event that is for Dia de los Muertos. It's in November, so we celebrate with kites. Of course, you go to the cemetery as well and give flowers to your people that passed away. But in Guatemala, there's a huge event where you have huge kites that are made out of bamboo, and they are flat. They put them on the sky to remember their ancestors. And it's a way of bringing back like the ones who have left and connected to those who are still here. And I just love dancing with my family. I love music in all shapes. I love making music. It reminds me of my grandfather and my family, dancing to the music, singing, and eating Latin food, no matter where it comes from. I love Latin America because it's a big family. And Mother Teresa says that there is true joy or true peace in you when there's peace at home. Mm-hmm. And I genuinely believe that we Latinos believe that no success in life will replace failing at home. We do believe that families come first, and we do whatever it needs to be done to take care of our families.
Wow, thank you so much. That was really powerful. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Something that I really like is the music. Like Nandy said, music is big, but especially Mexican music. You have rancheras and you have mariachis and you have banda. I just love the music. It's not what I listen all the time,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love it. And definitely being not in my country, I think the fact that I'm able to put my headphones and just listen to that, it takes me back to, because that's what you listen in the streets, or cumbias or things like that. You're just walking in the street and you hear it. Or I used to wake up at 7 a.m. because the neighbor will play super loud. So music is the way how I connect, and I feel like every country in Latin America, eventually it's a big part of who they are and what they put out for the world is music. And so music for me is huge, the way how it has been evolving and how it keeps evolving and how we listen to it. So being able to witness culture night and to see the people practicing, and it didn't come together all, like, to me it hit the rehearsal before the real one. When I saw all the people coming with their different costumes and with the different things and just playing the music, that just hit home, even though like I'm not from Brazil.
Right.
And I'm just from Mexico, and I didn't even grow up dancing what they dance,
Yeah.
But I know those dances. I grew up watching it.
Right.
And so the music is just the way how I connect, and it's my quick trip to Mexico every time I listen to it.
That's amazing. I love that so much. Wow.
No, I love what both of you said, Nandy and Ellen. I totally agree with that, especially the music part. Like, it just takes you back. For me, what I would say I really love about Latin America culture, specifically like Peru, if we're talking about Peru, is how proud they are to be what they are. Like, for example, Jackson, my boyfriend, he's so funny. He has like some Peruvian companions, and it would drive him crazy how they would be so prideful about being from Peru, because they would be fighting with like Chileans or Argentinians, like just saying that they were better than the other. And he just jokes about how he was just saying, like, if someone were to tell me that I would be with someone who was like from Peru, I would like laugh in their face. And it's just so funny to me, but I honestly love that they are so proud about where they are from. Like, they are so proud about the music, about the people, about the culture. And it is just just such a like a beautiful feeling, and just no matter who you come in contact with, you just you can feel their love, and you can feel honestly the light of the Savior just shining in these people's lives. And it's just so awesome to meet people from so many different places. Like, you all speak the same language for the most part. I mean, there's many dialects in like each country, but you all are there just kind of representing the whole, just a beautiful culture. And it's just I love it so much.
Thank you so much. I
Absolutely.
love that, especially because it sounds like a lot of you guys, you know, your cultures value the same things: family, music, food, family, really just above everything.
Right.
And how those other things kind of tie into that, and just caring for each other and being proud of you know, where you come from and who you are, and the battles that all of your ancestors have fought to help you guys be where you are today. And I think that's so amazing. So thank you guys. Huge shout out to the Latin American Club presidency members for joining us on this episode. Thank you, Alan, for enlightening us a little bit on Cinco de Mayo and what that means. So yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. Thanks
you.
to our
Thank you so
listeners.
much.
And yeah,
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
muchas gracias.
Gracias.
Yes.